The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Listen to that. The broadcast has now started. Welcome, everybody. This is David Newman. I am here with the awesome and amazing Teresa French. Great to have you back, my friend.
Hello, glad to be back.
So you just came back from what? A super palooza vacation down in Florida?
Yummy.
And now you
Land
have
of
how
the
many inches of
salsa.
snow and huge snow dump there in Minnesota now?
We had a huge blizzard, yes, yesterday, which caused us to be rerouted to Des Moines and drove 5 hours home. So fun times in travel.
Yeah, fun times in travel. Well, let me ask our webinar folks. We got about 1.5 minutes here, maybe just 1 minute to go. Can everyone hear and see okay? So you've got the big, well, no, you don't actually. Oh my goodness. Let's see. This is why we check. This is why we need to check. Can everyone now see the title slide that says Sell More Speaking and Coaching, Consulting, whatever? And is the audio okay? Just do a quick little yes in the question box if you can hear and see everything nice, loud, and clear.
Looks like we've got a resounding yes.
So Mary is here, and Skipper, Tony, Carly, Stephanie, Anthony, Joe, Fred, PB, Gabby, George, Lynn. Great to see you, Lynn. Always great to have you on these. Valerie and Gilda. Gilda! Back from the, I don't know what, back from the snow, but it's great to see you here, my friend. Jack, and yeah, fantastic. Carly says, let's rock David and Teresa. So Carly's ready. Carly's ready to make this happen.
Let's do it.
Carly's ready to make this happen. All right, I'm going to turn the Facebook folks off just to avoid any kind of weird confusion. I will say goodbye to the Facebook folks. Goodbye, Facebook folks. It was great to have you. If you want to join us live on the webinar, it is sellmorespeaking.com. Sellmorespeaking.com. It is not too late. Hop in right now. Show's about to start. See you, Facebook people, later. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Man, thank God they're gone. Holy smokes. I mean, these Facebook Live people, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what a high-maintenance crew they are. All right, let's get that going. We're going to post that. Hopefully that's not going to be yelling or beeping at me. And let's get the show started for you fabulous folks. All right, so you are in the right place. You are totally in the right place. It's the right time. I'm here in the middle of Snowmageddon 2.0, the big nor'easter dumping 6, 8, 10 inches of snow. Still have power, still have light, still have heat. That's all you need to know. That is all you need to know. So let's get right to it. If you're an already successful speaker, already successful consultant or expert, you are in the right place. Tired of getting beat up on price? I don't care if that price is $10,000, $15,000 or $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 or anything in that range. But whatever that means for you, that you know that you could do better financially, you can do better with your fees. You are tired of chasing prospects. You're in the right place if you find yourself chasing prospect after prospect or simply can't find enough. You simply can't find enough prospects that have your fee and that want to bring you in. You want to earn attention, trust, and sales much faster than you're doing now. And basically, you're looking for quicker, smarter, better ways to market and sell your speeches, your consulting, your products, your services, and your programs. In case you saw it on Facebook, I posted this a little while ago, that some of what we're sharing today is brand new. Some of what we're sharing today is kind of a 3:09 a.m. I literally got up at 3:09 a.m., turned on the lights, turned on the clock, saw, oh my gosh, it's 3:09 in the morning, and here's the real deal with how to sell more speaking and to be more successful in a speaking-driven business. So I want to find out right now, between speaking, training, coaching, consulting, any kind of speaking-driven business, what do you sell right now? What do you sell right now? Pop this in the question box. It's a quick little poll here, just so we can customize the rest of this content to really suit where you are and where you want to go. What are the investable opportunities? What's on your menu right now? Is it speaking, coaching, consulting, training, workshops, seminars, online courses, facilitation, CEO roundtables? What is it you guys are involved in your speaking-driven business? If it's multiple things, type in whatever the multiple things are, and let's see kind of who's in the room here.
We've got a lot of coaches in the room today, David. We've got Anthony's is coaching. Stephen is speaking, training, and coaching. Got a nice little suite going there. We've got Joe is coaching. Anthony's coaching. Valerie's selling online courses. Lynn workshops, coaching, consulting. She's a busy girl. Mary capturing leads. Looks like coaching. Michael. Ellen speaking. We got some speaker trainer coaches. Nice combos.
Great.
Kit, well, hey, Kit, great to see you here. Speeches and seminars.
Very nice.
Wow, they're just coming in so fast I can't keep up, David.
Good. No, that's great. I mean, just gonna get a feel for where you guys are, because everything that we talk about today is going to be applicable to getting more attention and more engagement and more sales conversations going for all the different investable opportunities in your world. So here's the game plan. We're going to talk about the stuckness curve, what that is, and how to escape the stuckness curve. We're going to talk about why you need to stop. Why you need to stop clicking on the wrong parts of the screen is what we're talking about. Why you need to stop looking for gigs and what we mean by that. The power of unfocusing. A little contrarian information there about what you might have heard about the power of focus. Stop sharing your expertise, stop paying your bills, and stop paying your dues. I'm getting so excited. This is my favorite program that we've done for quite a long time. I think the last time we did this, Teresa, was back in October, and I've made a lot of changes, and we put a lot of our best thinking into this one, so it's kind of revised and fully updated here for 2018. But this one hasn't changed. Stop paying your dues and start paying your bills, and then some next steps to help you make it happen. So let's get right to it. And of course, as always, we have our massive Q&A at the end. I would encourage you, if you have specific questions about your speaking, training, coaching, consulting business, hang out until the bitter end. Teresa and I will hang out here until we outnumber you. So 3 bad sales habits that might be sabotaging your success at every level, every single level, whether you're an $18,000, $20,000 keynoter, whether you're just starting out and charging, maybe even undercharging, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and you'd love to get that $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 fee more consistently. Here are 3 bad sales habits. The first one, no value proposition, meaning that your messaging is all centered around you. So we call this speaker-centric messaging and not value-centric messaging. Speaker-centric messaging and not audience or client-centric messaging. A lot of times you're using jargon or buzzwords or same-o, lame-o language. No specific articulation of what, how fabulous you are and exactly what kind of work you do and exactly what kind of problems you solve. No distinction means that you sound like, look like, and act like everyone else that does similar things to what you're doing. Sometimes it's being a generalist and having some generic topics or generic programs. And a lot of times your value proposition varies based on who you're talking to. So a lot of your value proposition, marketing, messaging, packaging is based on guessing and hoping and winging it every time. And there's no consistent, solid platform that you have to articulate the value of the great work that you do. Number 2 is no target market. So everyone messaging. Everyone needs my program. Everyone's a prospect. Every group, every company, every association, every executive. Here's the soundbite, folks. If your topic is for everyone, it's for no one. Your offerings might be all over the map. You're not communicating any depth of expertise. So the problem with having a very broad catalog of topics is it belies, and in fact, it brings into doubt the true expertise that you do have. So that means you have a perception of being an amateur, perception of being a dabbler, and it's a very low confidence approach. That's where they start asking you, well, who else have you done this for in the healthcare industry? Well, who else have you done this for in the high-tech industry? Well, I'm not really seeing exactly what you're doing here on your website, so what's in it for me? How does this really work? What do we get if we bring you in or work with you? So that when you have no specific target market and you're trying to boil the ocean, it brings in all of this fear, uncertainty, and doubt in your prospect's mind. The third thing is no sales process. Accidental selling, you never know where the next prospect is coming from mindset. completely random tactics. And as you know, random tactics lead to random results. Every sale plays out differently, and you're basically sitting waiting for the phone to ring. It is a very reactive stance. There is no proactive sales process. That is a repeatable, reliable, systematic way that you take your best leads from initial contact all the way through signed contract. And if you don't have that, those are three major leaky buckets in your boat, leaky holes in your boat. So my question for you is, and brutal honesty time here, folks, which one is yours? Type in 1 if it's the first one, 2 if it's the second one, 3 if it's the third one. Let's recap while you're typing that. 1 is no value prop or no clear value prop, that you don't have the messaging and the languaging quite dialed in. So that's number 1. Type number 1 in the question box if you're claiming guilty on that one. Number 2 is no target market, spray and pray, no depth of expertise. Everyone's a good market for you. So you haven't made a decision yet. Type in number 2. You haven't decided on who you really want to serve. And then number 3 is sales process is just a hot mess. Type in number 3 if you're ready to raise your hand and say, David, Teresa, team, help me out. My sales process is a hot mess. So 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3. I will tell you, early on in my speaking business, in my speaking-driven business, I was like 1 + 2 + 3 + 3 + 2 +. I had all of them, and I had multiple flavors of each one. So there's no shame here. There's no judgment here. It's just a quick reality check. And again, we can customize our program here and customize our Q&A based on which ones are most relevant for you guys. So Teresa, what are we getting? Who's got what numbers? Are we doing some 1s and 2s and 3s? And I can pull mine up as well here too. Let's see. So Nicholas says 1. Karen's 1 + 2 + 3. I'm a mess. Kathy says 1. Carly says 1 + 3, and it is a hot mess. Gord says 3. PB says 1. Ellen, PB, Michael, all number 3s. Barry as well. Lynn is number 1. Kenny is 3. Dorothy's 3. George is 3. Man, a lot of 3. Well, of course, the topic is sell more speaking. So again, you're in the right place. And again, these are flying by so fast and furious now. So Anthony and Tony and Michael and Lorraine and Tom. Tom, is great to see you, buddy. And Kid is here. Man, this is the rock star. This is the rock star group all up in here. Tracy, another rock star. Carol from up in Canada. This is fantastic. Wow. Impressive group of humans we have here today. So thank you guys for being on. Let me get things back into, I'm like just jamming and slamming between multiple screens here. There we go. So 5 mind shifts that will start to help you get squared away around your sales process. And each one of these could be the game changer for you. When we get to our Q&A, I'd love to hear which one had the most impact. So do jot down some notes, do have a pen and paper handy, and we are trying to get you unstuck in 5 different aspects of this whole problem. Starting with shift number 1. I call this the stuckness curve. Now you look at all the people who are stuck with selling and sales, whether it's selling their speaking, selling coaching and consulting services, selling training, seminars, workshops, enrolling people in your online course, your online follow-up program, whatever it might be. 3 layers, right? There's the beginners, there's the intermediate or the mid-career people, and there's the experts. And here's the shame in our business, that the people who should really be stuck are just the beginners. Not a lot of beginners, they just do a lot of activity. They don't necessarily feel they're stuck, but it's not necessarily productive activity. They probably should be feeling more stuck than they are. It's these people in the middle that break my heart. It's these people in the middle that Teresa and I are always kind of shaking our heads going, wow, dude, dudette, I wish we could help you. I wish you could have come to us sooner. I wish you didn't have to spend all this time and money and struggle and pain trying to figure these things out. Now, here's what's also interesting. On the high end of the curve are the experts. These are the people that have all the fancy letters after their name, the certified speaking professionals, the members of the National Speakers Association Speaker Hall of Fame, many of whom are our clients, by the way. These people should not be stuck. But you know what? They're stuck too, because they've either been plateaued at the same fee level for too long, whether that plateau is at $10,000 or $12,000 or $15,000 speaking fee. They've either been plateaued too long, or it's an exciting time in their business and they're about to pivot. They're about to turn into a new topic, a new niche, a new target market. They've got a new book coming out. They're shifting from one area of expertise to another. They're just evolving their speaking-driven business in a new direction, and it's like they're beginners all over again. They're beginners all over again. So like, how do I get started? What do I do? A lot of my old clients have retired. A lot of my old contacts are no longer working. So if you're in your 50s or 60s or maybe even early 70s, right, you're kind of going up on the senior, the master of the game. You know, you're the Yoda of the operation. We do work with Yodas. We do work with Yodas, and some of the Yodas need the help more than the beginners do. And we help them, we get them turned around and off in the right direction. So let's talk about how to help you with that. Number one, whether you're starting, booting up, rebooting, or reinvigorating your speaking-driven business, shift number one is about please don't be so sure. Don't be so sure that you know what your clients want. Don't be so sure that your topics are on point and marketable and bookable. So let's dig into this a little bit for you guys so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Be willing to flex your delivery modes. If you've been doing keynote, maybe it's time to add some seminars. Maybe it's time to add some deep dive workshops. Maybe it's time to add some roll your sleeves up whiteboard sessions. Maybe it's time to do some on-stage consulting. So flex your delivery modes. Don't be married to what used to work and it might not be serving you and might not be working in today's speaking marketplace. Be willing to adapt your topic and your focus. And Teresa and I see this, our whole team sees this all the time. We get people on a strategy call and they are so hell-bent on selling what they want to sell that they have stopped paying attention to what their buyers want to buy. I mean, you guys could drop off the call right now. Goodbye, good luck, have a nice Wednesday, see you later. And we'd never need to talk again, and that's $1 million tip right there. When you start to assume that your topic is thebomb.com, that you have it all figured out, you have it all dialed in, and you keep on forcing the round peg into the square hole, and it's not working, you're not getting sales, you're not getting booked, you're not even getting email replies, you're not getting voicemail callbacks, but you keep on hammering in the same way at the same time with the same message, you got to be willing to adapt, folks. You got to be willing to adapt and shift and modify your topic, your focus. Sometimes we call this foreground, background confusion, where the topic that you're selling is not really the topic that they're buying, but what you have in the foreground is your story. That really should be in the background as your backstory, because the front end articulation and marketing and messaging that you need is about client value and client outcomes. And that little 10, 15, 20% shift will sometimes make all the difference, and then your six-figure or multi-six-figure speaking-driven business gets totally unblocked and unlocked and unleashed. Be open to revise your messaging, which I just talked about. We don't need to beat a dead horse, but be willing to revise the core messaging of your marketing. Don't be so committed to what you want to sell, and really do a listening campaign. Go out there to the blogs, portals, and communities where your target market is already talking about the problems that you solve, and spend a good couple of days investigating, listening, gathering data, gathering language, picking up sound bites, have your ear to the ground, and pick up the frustration, the bottlenecks, the challenges, the mastery here. The concept you want to master to help you sell more speaking is learn to speak prospect language about prospect problems and get ultra focused on what they want to buy and leave behind what you want to sell. So help and serve, don't pitch or peddle, right? No one wants a program. No one wants a speech. No one wants a keynote. No one wants a seminar. They want help. They want an outcome. And your only job is to remove the obstacles and to speed their path to the outcome that they want for their reasons and not for your own. So here's how to flex. 5, 10, 15% shift, like I said a moment ago, can make a huge impact. Think about your audience versus your buyers. This is another game changer, guys. When you're selling, we often sell to the ultimate end user in the audience, and that's a huge mistake. Ultimate end users do not have economic buying authority. Think about this as sales, selling a sales program to salespeople. Salespeople don't buy. Sales speakers or sales coaches or sales consultants, sales managers do. So think about is your messaging for the worker, the frontline employee, or is your message for the leader and for the executive? Is it for salespeople or is it for sales managers? Is it for nurses or is it for nurse managers and chief nursing officers? This is about perspective and ownership of the problem. Here's what I mean. We'll take a speaker's one sheet, we'll take a speaker's website, we'll take a speaker's overall messaging, and we'll change it from you and your language, right? Are you struggling to hit quota? Are you having a hard time getting appointments? That's a salesperson message. If I say, is your team struggling to make their quota? Do you have salespeople on your team that are underperforming and you're not quite sure why? Do you see the difference? When I level up my messaging to the actual economic decision maker, I'm going to make more sales. I'm going to get more callbacks. I am going to be speaking buyer language about buyer problems. I am not going to be speaking audience language about audience problems. We've had people come into our program and this is one of the only changes that they make, and they suddenly start unlocking $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 a month of new business because now they're finally talking at the right level about the right problems with the right people, and before they were trying to sell dog food to dogs. You cannot sell dog food to dogs, my friends. Dogs do not have pockets. Dogs do not have wallets. Dogs do not have credit cards. So you need to sell the dog food to the dog owner. And that's what I mean by elevate and escalate your sales language so that you're talking to the buyers and you're not talking to the audience. I'm curious, just listening to that one shift. Type in the question box, how much more money do you think that you could bring in? How many more programs with dollar figures could you sell using just this one technique? If you revamped your language to buyer language, who owns the problem, as opposed to audience language, which is who's in front of you when you speak or coach or consult, how much more money do you think you could bring in? How many more speeches, coaching clients, consulting gigs, speaking gigs, how much more money could you sell just by using this one technique? And I'm curious what numbers people have, because this is a huge blockage for so many people. And it's totally unnecessary and it's totally fixable and coachable. So let's see what you have here. So Vernon says infinite. Carly says 25 to 30K per client. Judy says triple my sales. We've got lots. We've got $50,000 per year, says Joe. Barry says 25K. Carly says 5 to 8 more clients at 50K per engagement. George is $100,000. PB says, where have you been my whole life? Where have you been my whole life? I've been here. I've been here. Teresa, where have I been?
You have been in Philadelphia.
Yes.
And I've been in Minnesota. We've been here.
The whole darn time that PB is asking this question. The whole darn
That's right.
The whole darn time. Yeah, so these are great numbers, guys. $10,000 per month, says Kit. Yes, and the numbers keep on flowing. So you can fix that sooner rather than later, right? And then everything else that goes with it is going to start to improve. Quick success story from one of our favorite recent clients, Michelle Cederberg, who is a CSP. I mentioned that we do work with already successful people that have fancy letters after their name. So Michelle, like me, is a certified speaking professional. This is what she posted in our clients only Facebook group. Proof that it's always best to get on the phone to discuss possibilities and to go into the conversation with a confident, I can help you mindset with the right kind of buyer and the right kind of language, mind you. My client call ended in a full fee booking for February 2018, $7,500. Boom, easy, done. I love this stuff because it was an easy conversation for her to have. This was not hard. It was not pushy. It was not salesy. It was not weird. It was offer value, invite engagement, have a peer-to-peer conversation, inviting them to discuss different ways that you can help them. And when we taught Michelle to stop pitching and stop peddling and start asking and probing and digging and uncovering, that's when her whole business started to pivot. And again, already a very successful speaker coming into the program, but didn't have the sales conversation dialed in, didn't have that 10 or 15% shift that I just shared with you guys, didn't have that 10 or 15% shift in place. She was having a hard time, and she'll tell you this because she talks about it in her testimonial, that she was having a hard time getting $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 programs. With this shift, $7,500. Boom, easy, done. Ba-bam, ba-bam is what we say around here. Ba-bam. That's what we want for you. So shift number 2. Let's keep the show rolling here. I'm curious, which of these is a problem in your sales process? Is it finding buyers who can afford your speaking, coaching, and consulting? And if that's the case, type in finding in the question box. Is it connecting? What do I say? What do I send? Hey, boss, I got one here on the line. This person's a big, fat, juicy prospect. How do I connect? What do I say? What do I send? So put connecting in the question box if that's also a problem for you. Is it about getting initial conversations, right? Getting your first at-bat to invite them to that conversation that I just told you Michelle had about inviting a prospect to a discussion on how you can help them? Is it about getting the second meeting after that initial conversation? So the follow-up, right? Second, type in the word second in the question box if that's a problem. Or does it always come down to money? Is it always about negotiating your fee, getting price pressure, caving on the price, whatever that might look like? So put this, or is it about closing the deal? Is it about gaining commitment, getting the yes, and closing the deal? So 6 big problems: finding, connecting, initial, second, fees, or closing. And type those in the question box. If you have multiples, type in the multiples. If you have all of them, you can type in all. But I want to kind of find out where the gaps are in your process. Is it finding? Is it connecting? Is it initial conversation? Is it second meeting? Is it around the fees? Or is it around just closing the deal and getting them booked? Teresa, what's
well, David,
any patterns emerging?
You know, the good news is we don't have a large number of all of them. So we just have some individuals. We've got finding, a lot of findings. We've got some connecting and initial. We've got a couple of fees, so negotiating those fees.
Yeah.
And we've got buyers and finding buyers and closing. So closing is an issue. Initial combo and fees and closing. So, you know, a small number of fixable issues and challenges.
Right. And this is, I mean, if you were to say, okay, David, put the sales process on one slide. This is your sales process on one slide. So my question for you is, and let's make this a yes-no answer, between finding, connecting, initial conversation, second meeting, negotiating fees, closing the deal, do you have, be brutally honest here, guys, do you have a systematic, repeatable, reliable process for each of these 6 phases of the deal? Do you have a systematic, reliable way to find? A systematic set of templates, tools, and scripts to connect? Do you have a systematic way of getting initial conversations going? Do you have a systematic follow-up process that keeps them warm and keeps them moving towards a sale? Do you have a systematic method with which you negotiate with integrity, value for value, that does not include caving on price or dropping your price for no reason? And do you have a systematic or repeatable, reliable closing process? That sounds like 6 questions. It's only one. It's a yes or no answer. Why means yes, I have a systematic, repeatable, reliable process for all 6 stages. And no, or N, is I do not have a repeatable, reliable, systematic process for each of these 6 stages. And this is truth-telling time. Truth-telling time once again. If you had this dialed in, I'm just wondering how much more successful you would be. So we have a lot of honesty here, guys. A lot of honesty. I'm going to give Barry credit for saying yes. So we're not here to kind of rig the system. Lynn says system, what system? A lot of no's, and it looks like Barry might be in sales training. So Barry, God bless you. I'm glad that you have this dialed in. Very glad. That's great. So here's the difference. Here's the difference where people really struggle with selling more speaking or selling more of anything, really. It's about the difference between Rolex and Timex. So think about it this way. People buy who they are. There's a huge aspect of identity, right? You will never turn a Walmart shopper into a Nordstrom's customer. Write that one down somewhere. You will never turn a Walmart shopper into a Nordstrom's customer simply because that's not who they are. That's not who they are. So this transformation, how will I turn a Timex person into a Rolex client that's going to pay me $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 to speak? The answer is you're not. But you're spending way too much time with Timex people, and you're not even looking or finding the Rolex people in your niche and in your target market. So here's the deal. Buyers are either Timex or Rolex. Here's what that means. If you want to stop wasting time with the broke-ass losers, the tire kickers, the price shoppers, what I call the people who hire a spreadsheet speaker. You guys know that term, spreadsheet speaker? What that means? Spreadsheet speaker means they make 10 phone calls, they talk to David, they talk to Teresa, they talk to Megan, they talk to Alicia, they talk to Fred, they talk to Sam, and they put you in a spreadsheet. They say, okay, we got, here are the people, here's the websites, here's the speaking fees, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, who's got the lowest fee? Okay, we're hiring Morgan. We're hiring Morgan. Sorry, Morgan, you're the cheapest speaker, and we're hiring Morgan because she's the one that wins the spreadsheet game. You do not want to be a spreadsheet speaker. So if Morgan is smart, she's going to put marketing and messaging and articulation and distinction in place specifically to turn off the freeple. Turn off the freeple, turn off the low fee, no fee, tire kicker goofballs. Repel the cheaple, the people that say, oh, we'll pay you $500. We'll pay you $1,500. We'll pay you $2,000. Those are cheaple. And you will finally attract your real economic buyers. You will finally target, connect with, and have fantastic sales conversations with the people who want you, need you, and are looking to pay a premium fee. Because they know what Rolex costs, they know what Timex costs, and they know which is the higher quality product. So the low fee gigs are essentially because you're looking for love in all the wrong places. And yes, there is a country and western song about that. I'm not going to sing it for you, but this could be a big problem for you if all you're finding is low fee and no fee gigs. So I'm wondering, have you wasted too much time and energy selling to Timex and not nearly enough time and effort and focus lasering in on the Rolexes in your world? So just put yes or no in the question box. Very simple, very quick. Yes or why, N or no. Have you wasted too much time? It's a simple binary question. Have you wasted too much time and energy selling to the people that are looking for the spreadsheet speaker, the Timex, the price shoppers, the tire kickers, the broke-ass losers, the goofballs? We have a million names for them, Teresa, right? These broke-ass loser prospects.
We do. Too many to name.
I mean, these are the people.
And we've got, I love the response.
For $1,200, we'll buy you a nice dinner. We'll give you a rubber chicken dinner. It's like, dude, I don't work for $1,200 in a rubber chicken dinner, and neither should you. So yeah, what are folks saying about this one?
Yes, yes, Aru, yes, exclamation points, yes, yes. We have one no. Julia says no.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel. We've got another no from Vinny and Kathy. So, that's great. PD says yes. Carly says yes. We got a lot of yeses in the
Yeah.
group.
Vinny says,
I'm surrounded by Timex, Vinny says.
I love it. I'm surrounded by Timex. And then Carol says something very smart. No, but it does keep trying to pull me in. I have to keep my David Newman coaching front of mind to stay out of this pit. And yes, you do, my friend.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so glad that you've got your Timex alert set on high. That is really, really great. So, yeah, and that's the point, guys. Is just awareness is 80% of the solution. Knowing what to do, knowing how to pivot, knowing how to have the right sales conversation, knowing how to re-articulate and reframe what you do in a highly valuable way for each prospect, that, of course, is the secret sauce. But even if you're aware that you're doing this, you can stop doing it sooner rather than later. You can stop doing it. Because here's the harsh truth. Here's why this is important. This is like X-ray vision. X-ray vision into the marketplace, X-ray vision into your buyers' hearts and souls and minds. When you're charging too little, and again, too little is a relative term. There are folks on this call that are charging $10,000 per speech, and I guarantee you that for you, it's too little. Because I know you. I know you. It's too little. By charging too little relative to where you are in your professional career and staying focused on prospects who can quote-unquote afford your too low fees, you have cut yourself off from the premium clients who are looking for premium experts who charge premium fees. Let me clarify this even further. Premium clients are not only willing to pay premium fees, they are willing. They're not only able to pay premium fees, they're certainly able to. Here's the killer, guys. Here's the killer. They're expecting to pay premium fees. And if you show up too cheap, they go, oh, this must not be a Rolex. Oh, this must not be a BMW. Oh, this must not be the real true drop-dead industry expert that owns this mountaintop of expertise. This must be a little poser. This must be a little dabbler. This must be a little amateur hour person who really belongs in the spreadsheet speaker category. My bad. I thought I was hiring the real deal. I thought I was hiring the best in the business. I thought I was hiring a true professional. Turns out I'm hiring an amateur part-time dabbler because you're coming to me with a $2,500 fee. You're coming to me with a $3,500, $4,500 fee, and you should be at $7,500, $8,500, $12,500, $15,000 for some of you guys. And again, the numbers are situational, but I have never, ever met a speaker who said, you know what, I'm just charging too much. My problem is I need to lower my fee. I am just charging too much money. I'm making too much money every month. Never had that problem. Teresa, have we had that problem?
Nope. Never. Not us. Nope.
97.6% of the time, and I've done the statistical analysis on this, 97.6% of the time, it's you're charging too little, whatever that means, relative, right? It's a relative term. You're charging too little, and you are undermining your credibility with your very best prospects. And that's what's the heartbreaker for me. Number 2, stop looking for gigs. Start solving problems. We mentioned this a few minutes ago. Nobody wants it. No one wants a speech. No one wants a coach. No one wants consulting. What they want is outcomes. If your positioning is as a speaker, speakers are subject to the ups and downs of the meeting industry, and that's always how it's going to be. Problem solvers are always in demand, and they're even more in demand when things get ugly. So here's how to get on a buyer's radar. Who owns the problem? Who owns the problem? Who wants an outcome? What conditions are changing in their world as it relates to your topic? Which kinds of corporations, associations, groups, and leaders stand to win? Because the ones that stand to win, the alpha dogs, if you will, those are the ones that will grab on to the outside coaching, training, consulting, and speaking help faster than the rest. Who stands to lose? So who stands to lose, or maybe not, if you step in to help them? So what's going on in your field, whether that field is leadership, sales, communication skills, talent development, online marketing, marketing for bankers, healthcare, personal finance, parenting, name the topic. Name the topic. Any kind of business, personal, professional development topic. What are the trends in the news and the industry shifts that are coming down the pike? Because if you can solve those problems and help them get those outcomes, our mantra is when you solve bigger problems, you will get bigger checks. and that is played out after client after client after client. Solve bigger problems and get bigger checks. So here's one of our favorite clients, Mike Thompson. Very successful guy, 30-year plus speaking veteran, did a lot of work in schools. In his own words, by his own admission, he said that his biggest problem was hunting wabbits. And he was doing the gig-to-gig hamster wheel, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 programs. That's all he was ever able to get. After having this kind of shift of moving from speaker to problem solver, he says, I got one sponsor on the line, because part of our program is about sponsorship and how to land sponsorship deals. I got one sponsor on the line for a $50,000 deal, and another one just closed for $75,000 a year for 3 years, so that's a $225,000 deal. I can't say enough about David personally, and his mentoring program made all the difference. I've stopped hunting wabbits, and I'm finally building a real business around my speaking. So that's the difference between being the CEO of your speaking business versus being on the gig-to-gig hamster wheel and chasing gigs and, peddling and pitching your wares. Shift number 3, stop focusing. Focus might be killing you. As much as Teresa and I and the whole team, we focus on focus, and we love the word focus. We love focused marketing. We love focused prospecting. We love focused outreach. We will use that word lots of different ways. The one way that I think might be hurting you is this. You've been told, focus, 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 focus. Is that the best advice or the worst advice? If you focus wrong, focus in the wrong way, the perception in the marketplace is you're a one-trick pony. You're a one-trick pony. You only do one thing. It's not very flexible, not very adaptable. You look like every other single topic speaker. Leadership speaker, all I do is leadership. Well, okay, you and 5,000 other people. Sales, all I do is sales. Okay, well, that's good. That's better than doing 17 different things, but you look like, sound like, and act like every other sales speaker. Should you be focused or broad? What am I really saying to you? I'm saying yes. The answer is yes. You should be focused and broad, and here's what I mean. It's going to be a combination strategy. Don't worry about focusing, start combining. And when I say combining, look at your background and find overlapping areas of your own expertise, domain knowledge, the topics that you know, the ingredients or the building blocks of your expertise, the phases and stages of the work that you do with your clients, the competing, conflicting priorities perhaps, surprising adjacencies that we work on this and we work on that, unlikely combinations of your own personal background, expertise, and experience. And let me give you a quick common mistake. Speakers and experts who offer 17 different topics or programs, we call that grocery bag speaker. Sometimes we call it foreground, background confusion. You need a unifying theme that pulls all these 17 things together, or that takes the foreground that you think is the foreground and puts it in the context of the background of why you are uniquely qualified to speak on that topic. Don't make that the foreground, make that your rocket fuel. So if you do either one of those problems, the unifying theme and this overlapping combination is going to really help you. Distinction sometimes just comes from this combination. So let me give you an example. One of our favorite clients here is Scott McClymans. He has a company called CEO Velocity. He said it's a consulting and coaching firm helping leaders of financial institutions and mid-market businesses acquire ideal customers and build profitable relationships. So that's the value prop in one sentence or less. Where Scott comes into this, and watch for the combination now, from my background in business intelligence, marketing strategy, corporate leadership, and small business ownership, I know companies live or die based on their ability to define and attract ideal customers, develop leaders and employees focused on those customers, empower them with systems and knowledge to create and deliver great customer value. You see that stacking? The 1 + 2 + 3 = 10. That's the power of this. This is what gets Scott cover stories in his industry publications like Credit Union Business. That's what gets Scott a column, a recurring column named after his company, the CEO Velocity column, that's in Bank Advisor magazine. That's what gets him about 4 pages of articles and CEO interviews on his website. When you go to ceovelocity.com, check out his media page, you'll see this goes 4 pages deep. Here's the simplest way for you to start your distinction journey. What are your 3 overlapping circles? Scott's was marketing, customer service, and leadership. Boom. He becomes the go-to guy. He owns that mountaintop. He owns that red section. Are there other banking customer service speakers? Yes. Are there other bank marketing speakers? Yes. Are there other bank leadership speakers? Yes. None of them combine 1 + 2 + 3 = 10. None of them have this overlapping combining strategy. This is what makes Scott a category of 1. So, understanding that, go ahead and type in the question box, name one way that you will stop focusing and stop hammering away like a one-trick pony and start combining all of these amazing, awesome things that you have in your toolkit in a customer-centric, value-centric way. So name one, which type a few words. You don't need to write a whole novel in there, but type in either a few keywords or some short phrases. Maybe in your case, it's leadership and operations and product knowledge. Maybe for some other people, it is innovation plus sales plus leadership. Maybe it's, hey, I've been in telecom sales for 20 years, so it's telecom industry background plus leadership plus marketing. So whatever it is, it's going to be bits and pieces of your personal story, your personal expertise, experience, what you've lived through, what you've seen, what you've learned, and how do you combine that into a compelling value proposition that truly makes you a category of 1. I would love to see what people are putting for this. Just type in a couple of short phrases, maybe a couple keywords of what your new combination strategy is to help you stand out in the marketplace and truly become distinct and valuable to your clients and audiences. So Fred's saying,
I love it. Casey says,
service design. Carly's got communication, leadership strategy. Shane is saying, nice guys finish and outlast. Selling the right way to build relationships and keep retention. Ryan talks about counseling, coaching, disability plus leadership. Yeah, you guys are getting it. You guys are totally getting it. It's the 1 + 2 + 3 kind of superpower that only you bring to the table. Only you bring to the table. Huge. Really good work, guys. And keep typing those in. We're going to move on, but keep typing those in if you have them. And we can circle back to that during the Q&A that's coming up. Really, really good. So here's where Scott ended up. Very excited about the results. In the pipeline are 3 paid speaking engagements at high-profile leadership conferences, a large systems project with a top 10 U.S. bank, and again, that's his niche, credit union CEO mastermind groups that he's launching, a year-long CEO leadership intensive with the largest state-based credit union trade association in the country. Boom, boom, and boom. All coming from Scott being able to reposition himself with our help with that 1 + 2 + 3 = 10, and now Scott owns that mountaintop and the prospects are coming to him. He's getting his emails returned, he's getting his voicemails returned, he is an in-demand guy because of that unique overlapping combination of skills that he brings to bear for every single client that he works with. All right, and I seem to have lost my mouse, but we will power on. There we go. Shift number 4. Shift number 4. Stop learning. I love teaching, but you guys need to stop learning. Please. Oh my God, stop learning. Let's do a quick benchmark check-in here. Have you spent too much money on courses and information products and live boot camps that promised you the moon and did not deliver anywhere near the results that we've been talking about today? Have you been in learning overload? And here's where the course junkies get to stand up. We're doing Course Junkies Anonymous today. If you're a learning junkie or a course junkie, that you've already spent way too much time and money and effort on course after course, info product after info product, boot camp after boot camp, just say yes. Just put yes in the question box. 12-step program. Step 1, acknowledge you have a problem. Step 2, tell someone else. I've already taken you down 2 steps here, guys. How many learning junkies in the room? How many course junkies and info junkies?
We have a ton, but I got to tell you, I am Madam Spend-A-Lot has got to be the best answer. I am Madam Spend-A-Lot. We have yes exclamation points. Oh my God, learning junkie, that's me. I don't do it anymore, but I have spent thousands.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes.
So let's talk about this.
Lots of bad coaches.
Why is someone who's running kind of a training and coaching and mentoring company telling you to stop learning? Let me tell you, it is time for you to move from information to transformation. Now, I'm going to tell you this about your own speaking business and your own ability to sell more speaking. I also want you to translate this. Are you, in your topic, are you a teacher? Are you an informer? Or are you truly an agent of change, and are you offering a transformative process and program to your audiences? So this one's a little bit meta. I'm kind of asking you, and I'm also encouraging you to do this for your clients and for your audience. Because here's the reality, guys. Information is a commodity. Inspiration even is a commodity. Recommendation, well, try this and maybe this will work and good luck doing that and go for the brass ring and you can do it and work on your mindset and everything is awesome. That's not going to move the needle for your audiences, just like it doesn't move the needle for ours. Here's where the money happens. Implementation and transformation, that's what people pay you for. That is it,
right.
Period, end of sentence. So here's the deal. Here's why I asked who are the learning junkies. The learning junkies, because you love to learn, I love to learn, Teresa loves to learn, our whole team loves to learn. We think because we consume a lot of information, that's what we should be selling. And now we're talking to a meeting planner. Now we're talking to a corporate executive. Now we're talking about, hey, your people need to know. Your people need to learn. Your people need to discover. No one needs to learn. No one needs to discover. No one needs to find out. You know what they need to do? They need to kick ass. They need to get into action. They need marching orders. They need results. So if you're in the transformation business like we are, then you are also in the results business. And this changes every sales conversation from input to output. It changes every sales conversation from speaking, coaching, and consulting to value, impact, results, and outcomes after Elvis has left the building. And yes, you are Elvis. Teresa, you're Elvis. I've seen your wig. I know what's going on there. So when Elvis leaves the building, how are you leaving your clients and audiences transformed? What are they able to do after that they're not able to do now? And so this is about, are you selling expertise or are you selling applied expertise? Every sales conversation that you have will go better and you will get higher and more fees if it's applied expertise. What that means is real-time application, implementation, and focus on results. That is worth 10 times information or motivation. When you're in front of an audience, when you're coaching or training or doing a seminar or a whiteboard session, don't just tell them what they need to do. Show them and do it with them. This needs to be real world, do this now, action-based. That's what your programs are. It's not about your ideas that you share. It's about their results that they're able to get after application of all the brilliance that you just left with them. So think about it this way. We've talked about this golden triangle business model a couple of different times. I have a new spin on it now. So golden triangle, as far as speaking, the only outcomes from speaking is going to be awareness. The only outcomes then, if they want to go further, is they want to have a training solution. That's going to get them some skills transfer. And then when you move to the third leg of the golden triangle, which is a coaching or consulting, I know we have a lot of coaches and consultants on this call here today, that's where behavior change happens. And you can keep on going around this golden triangle, speaking to different topics or different groups or kind of, do a whole account penetration strategy. But that's what happens with outcomes. Now, let's talk about training. Let's talk about, in our business, how this actually plays out. So training means that we teach it, right? The mentoring component means that we coach it, and the action steps or the guided implementation means that we do it with you. And now we keep on going around this golden triangle. So the results, as you've seen already from our case studies and our client success stories, because we love bragging on our clients, and they get the credit because they've done the work, they generate an additional $10,000 to $20,000 a month. Here's the clue, folks. If they could do it without the training, if they could do it without the mentoring, if they could do it without the action steps and the time that it takes to work with us, they absolutely would. We are a necessary evil to get the results that we get for our clients, just like you are a necessary evil in your business. Your clients have to hire you. Your clients have to go through you and they have to go with you to get the outcomes. But don't talk about how great the trip is going to be. Talk about the destination. Talk about what's it going to be like once we have these problems solved, once we have these obstacles removed, once we have everything dialed in the way that you want. Will you sell more speaking if you do that? Absolutely. Will you sell more training? A lot more. Will you sell more coaching and mentoring? Totally. Will you sell more consulting and long-term behavior change? Absolutely. So no matter how you slice and dice this golden triangle, this is our implementation of it. Your implementation of it might look more like this, with a speaking-driven business, that speaking leads to training, leads to coaching and consulting, and then back on top for more speaking, different topics, different areas of the company. I'm just curious, based on this, does this triangle model make sense? Type in the word triangle if you can see what I'm talking about with the results-focused messaging that you could have about we train it, we teach it, and we help you implement. We help you get into action. It's a results program. It's not just a learning junkie program. This is not for course junkies. It's not for coaching junkies. It's not for speaking junkies. This is you talking, right? This is about finally getting the results that your clients and audiences want. Could you use the golden triangle business model in your work? Type in the word triangle if this is applicable, and if you're liking this, if you can see some serious potential revenue coming from implementing this golden triangle model, all of which is focused on client outcomes. It's not focused on, hey, buy my speech, hey, hire me as your coach, hey, bring me in to consult. It's what outcomes do you want, and how can I shorten your path and accelerate your speed to those exact outcomes? You start having sales conversations like that, and you will absolutely sell more speaking. So, Teresa, who are our triangle people?
Anthony, Carly, Vernon, Michael, Carol. We've got Karen says yes again. Casey says triangle. I got it. Makes so much sense, Fred said. Dave, Judy, Barry. It looks like we've got triangle in the house. Mike
Awesome.
says triangle is perfect.
Good. That's
and
really great.
PB says me likey.
Yeah, me likey. Me likey.
Me likey.
Here is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is a couple of different things, combining some of the things we've been talking about so far. There needs to be rain to make a rainbow, correct? The rain is the specific urgent problems that you solve. The light that comes through the rainbow is you having a results-focused conversation to illuminate their realities, their challenges, their obstacles, and their gaps. Every client, every audience, where are they today? Where would they like to be after Elvis leaves the building? And again, you're Elvis in that scenario. And then the spectrum of the rainbow, if you're willing to flex, if you're not being so sure, if you're doing all the things we talked about today, the spectrum of solutions that they can act on, implement, and use right away. What are the needle movers that they're really concerned about? What are the quick wins that your programs or speeches or topics can provide? What is the obvious shortest path to getting them the results, the outcomes, the impacts, and the improvements that they want to make? You have a sales conversation around this stuff, they would have to be brain dead not to buy. They would have to be brain dead not to buy, because this is all centered on exactly where they are, exactly where they want to go, and the quickest, fastest, shortest path to get them there. So let's talk about our client, Tony Lucero, who really mastered this kind of sales conversation that I'm talking about. Long story short, I picked up 2 coaching clients totaling $32,400, and I'm on retainer for 90 days at $10,000 per month with the company. Not bad. The reason I'm telling you all this is not to boast, but I was doing the activity that David outlines and focus on what I wanted to attract in my business that allowed the doors to be opened. Stay the course, do the work, and know your target market. I should have circled that one in red too. Know your target market. And I said, love, love, love these results, energy, and momentum. Go, Tony. And then Tony very kindly at the bottom of the slide there says, your program, David, made this possible. You know what? Tony activating what I just shared with you and having the structure, accountability, mentoring, and guidance to make it happen in his business, that's what made this happen. We didn't make this happen. Tony made this happen with our guidance. But that's the difference between pitching a speech versus generating a result and activating an outcome. So this was like $62,400 worth of business even before the mentoring program is over. So 3 times $10,000 per month, 3 months, 90 days, $32,400. It's $62,400. He would have never thought to do this. He was too busy peddling speeches. He was too busy on the input side and not focusing at all on the outcome side. All right, last shift. Stop paying your dues. I really hate that phrase. I'm not even sure what that means. Does that mean you have to speak for free? You have to pay your dues? You have to start small? You're not ready to charge more? You're not good enough? You're not smart enough? You're just in this for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Plug a number in there. No. No, 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 heck no. Absolutely not. That is crazy talk. You need to stop that voice in your head right now. This is either small potatoes thinking, it's imposter syndrome, it's craziness, and you got to stop. What you have to start is paying your bills. So if you're tired of undercharging and under-earning, even as a seasoned professional, so we got people in the program where at $15,000 for a speech, they're undercharging. They're undercharged. They should be at 18 or 20, but they've been stuck at 15. They've been plateaued. Whatever that number means to you, even if you're a seasoned pro, fees are a filter for your best clients. We talked about that with the X-ray vision. Fees are also a filter for who they look at and who they hire. Right? A premium company, the Rolex client, is not looking in the Timex watch aisle. You're not going to go and find a Rolls-Royce buyer in the Toyota dealership. So premium clients expect premium fees. It's not about what you need to earn. We talked about this. It's about what they need to pay to take you seriously. And to build your revenue model, here's where the rubber meets the road on the cash. You need to have more than one arrow in your quiver. So a lot of our clients have speaking, training, coaching, consulting, licensing, sponsorship. You saw success stories about all of these today. Speaking and training, anywhere from $6,500 to $18,000 plus. Coaching, like with Tony Lucero, for example, you saw that could be anywhere from $9K to $15K for a 90-day program, even more if it's for a group. Consulting projects, very easy to get a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 per month consulting gig, sometimes even a lot more than that. Licensing, $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 licensing deals, not uncommon, and sponsorship like you saw with Mike Thompson, multiple six-figure deals, sponsored speaking, I frankly think is the future of speaking. It is one of the most sustainable, commercially viable ways to market all of your speaking-driven profit centers, and just huge potential for many, many people, many of whom have never even thought about sponsorship, and they come into the program, we invite them in, and they totally crush it with the sponsorship strategy. So Susan Robertson, big client success here in shift number 5. She says, FYI, I just got another gig for $12,500 for a day. And she very quickly, she started out at $7,500, had never really been paid to speak at all, and went from 0 to 7,500, and before the program is even done, escalates that from 7,500 to 12,500. She says, I'm steadily raising my fees and so far getting it. I'm still not getting as many as I want, so there's some truth telling, but I'm getting more for the ones I'm getting. So I'm happy with my progress. Then, later, stay tuned, I ask her, hey, how's your 30K gig coming along? Did that ever close? She says, yes, it's coming up in 2 weeks. Multi-day program, $30,000 coming into the program. She was about to throw in the towel. She was about to say, oh, this whole speaking thing, it's not working. It's not, she was in tears. And now she's getting $12,500, 30K gig over here. Amazing, amazing transformation. Totally amazing transformation. So here's what you need to win. Escape the stuckness curve that we talked about by not being so sure. Don't be so sure. Number 2, stop looking for gigs, start solving problems. Number 3, stop focusing like a one-trick pony and start combining and overlapping. Number 4, move from information to transformation. And number 5, please operationalize what we just talked about with our friend Susan. Stop paying your dues, start paying your bills. Take this seriously. For some of you guys, it's simply a different number needs to leave your mouth. A different number needs to leave your lips when you're talking to buyers, when you're selling, you're speaking, when you're making this happen. So now you have a choice, guys. We want to kind of open this up for our Q&A here in a moment, but you can keep going down the old path, right? There's no rainbow in this picture, by the way. Old activity leads to old results. Keep being stuck at whatever level you're at, treading water financially or maybe even a slow decline. You're not reaching that next level of client, that premium client who is looking for you right now. Maybe if you've been in this game for quite a while, your clients are retiring right now. Your phone is not ringing the way it used to. It's time to reboot, refresh, or pivot what you're doing. With no support and no accountability and no guidance, that can be a hard, lonely road. So here's what we're doing. That can all end today, and we can book a strategy call. We can talk. So the URL to book your time is doitmarketing.com/apply. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get on the phone with someone from our team. We're going to diagnose what's really going on in your speaking-driven business. We're going to find the strategic gaps, many of which we talked about today. We're going to help you refocus and reframe and reboot what you're doing. We're going to look at specifically what needs to be fixed in your speaking-driven business when it comes to messaging and packaging and all the things we talked about today, the positioning, the pricing, the marketing, the sales. We're going to fill in what's missing for you specifically to consistently get clients that you love and finally earn what you deserve. So if you want to do that during our Q&A, that's coming up here in a minute, go to doitmarketing.com/apply. You're going to get a calendar link. That's going to open up. That's going to then take you to a prep form or a questionnaire so that we can prepare for your call. You don't need to split your focus. Keep that prep form window open. Keep that prep form window open. And then when we're done with the webinar today, you can complete that, fill that in, submit that. That's going to go to our team, and we'll be ready to help you on your breakthrough call to get some clarity on all of these things that we talked about today. So it's doitmarketing.com/apply. Here's how we can help. So we've set aside some time today and tomorrow and the next day to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your business starting right away. The cost for these breakthrough sessions is free. The URL, once again, is doitmarketing.com/apply. I think, Teresa, you've already put that in the chat window, so folks can just hot click on that, correct?
Sure did.
So
yes,
go
sir.
ahead and do
It's
that
there.
during the Q&A that's coming up. And what else about that?
No, just it's there, and it's in both the chat window and the question box, so it's readily available. Clickable link.
Awesome. So the only catch, and there's only one catch with this, is it's not for everybody. So this is not for you if building a high-fee speaking-driven business and learning how to sell more speaking is not your number one priority for the next 3 months. So you don't know what you want to be when you grow up. You're kind of fooling around with this, little kind of dabbling, hobbyist, amateur. You're not taking this all that seriously. We probably won't have a lot to help you if you're not going to take this seriously. It's also not for you if you refuse to follow a proven process and take action on instructions. It's also not for you if you are just refusing, absolutely refusing to change your low-fee mindset and low-fee business model. So you must be coachable. We're not here to pull a stick out of the mud. We're here to help you accelerate your path. It's also not for you if you're down to your last few dollars and you need to pay the rent literally this month. So there's no get-rich-quick nonsense. We do not believe in get-rich-quick. We do not believe in, make $1 zillion in your jammies. This is a hype-free zone. This is the real deal. Building a speaking-driven business the right way, the smart way for the long term. Now, this is for you, and I put the URL back on the screen here. This is for you if you're serious and decisive and committed to making your speaking-driven business profitable over the next 60 days. This does not have to be months and months and years. You already saw a handful, about half a dozen, of immediate escalation and elevation success stories where people went from 0 to 80 miles an hour in a single step. And that's whether you've done some paid speaking or you're a seasoned pro. You're in the certified speaking professional category. You're in the NSA Speaker Hall of Fame. We've worked with folks at every end of that spectrum. Whether you've got your niche or message nailed down or not, part of what we can do on this strategy session is to help you make an intelligent decision about the most profitable market and direction that you should take. Whether you're in this full-time or planning your escape from a corporate gig, we have very successful clients right now who are in the program who are just in that process of escaping their corporate gig, and they're digging their well before they're thirsty. In fact, just earlier this week, one of them closed 2 programs for $7,500. He's taking vacation days to fulfill those programs, hasn't even graduated yet, and $15,000 in the bank. So, imagine that compared to a full-time job that he really doesn't like. If you're willing to follow a proven process to ramp up revenue and you take mentorship and direction well, we'd love to talk to you during this call. And if you want to put another 10K to 20K in your pocket over the next 60 to 90 days, and more importantly, build a predictable flow of clients and cash ongoing, month after month, year after year, to build that systematic process and reliable method from which you can really revenue acceleration, create revenue acceleration for your speaking-driven business. If that's of interest to you, we'd love to talk to you, and the link is doitmarketing.com/apply. So why we're doing this? Are we just wonderful, generous, amazing human beings? The answer is yes. We are amazing, wonderful, generous human beings, and frankly, we love helping people. So on the call, we're going to help you get total clarity about exactly what you want your business to look like and the exact steps that you should take to achieve your goals. We know that some folks might want our help, and if we think that's a good fit in both directions, we may invite you to work with us, and we may not. Either way, it's going to be the most valuable 45 minutes that you're going to invest to grow your speaking-driven business and help you get results. And that is my personal promise to you, that that call is going to be a game changer in your business, whether we invite you in or not. So you go to doitmarketing.com/apply. If you want that rapid breakthrough, if you want that strategy session, we've got some openings today. We've got some openings tomorrow. We've got some openings the next day. These always go very, very quickly. Let's go to our Q&A. If you have a question, type it in the question box. Teresa and I will be here. I see appointments are coming in, which is great. We're going to keep that link open here while we're doing the Q&A at doitmarketing.com/apply. And if you had a question earlier and you typed it in, it was probably flying by fast and furious. Who's got a question about any of our teaching today, any of these shifts we talked about, strategic, packaging, messaging, pricing, escaping the price-driven sale, Timex versus Rolex, any of these things, type that in the question box. We'd love to talk to you guys, answer your specific questions of why you came on the call today and how we can help you. So Teresa, what questions are coming in from folks?
So Carly has a question. She's new to speaking, but not new to coaching or consulting. She's got experience there. And her question is, what costs do you charge, or what are the fees that you are charging as a new speaker that has coaching and consulting, but not professional speaking experience?
So this is kind of a false question, and we get this question a lot, right? How much do we charge for a new speaker? I didn't talk about it in this webinar, but in our previous webinars, I talk about this a lot, that, how much do you charge for a dentist who's doing his first root canal? Is that root canal cheaper because it's his first time, his first day in the office? How much how much is an airline ticket when it's that pilot's first time behind the 737 controls, right? 4-bar pilot, totally certified, totally ready to fly the plane. Oh, it's my first flight. Are the seats cheaper? You send a tax return to a CPA that just got their CPA designation. They know how to do tax returns. Is the first tax return cheaper? Here's the answer. The answer is the going rate. And the going rate, the minimum wage for a serious expert who speaks professionally, is a minimum of $4,500. Minimum. Can you go from 0 to 4,500? Absolutely. In fact, you saw our client Susan Robertson. She went from 0 to 7,500 in one fell swoop. because she was doing too much at low fee, no fee, honorarium, $300 nonsense, rubber chicken dinner circuit. She started to take this seriously, and she went from $7,500 to $12,500, a whole lot more at $10K and $12K, and then she landed that $30K 2-day program after that. So the elevation and escalation strategy can be very rapid. I would say to Carly that minimum, starting right now, starting today, $4,500, that's the going rate. If you underprice that number, you are presenting yourself to the buyer as an amateur, as a dabbler, and not a serious expert. Great question. Great question. I love when I can do a webinar slide from a webinar that we're not even doing. I just love that. Oh, that's slide 37 in the other presentation. But, I mean, we talk about this a lot, Carla, and we help our clients with this a lot. So if you want to kind of triangulate how that might play out for you, I would encourage you to hop on a call with us. Go to doitmarketing.com/apply, and then we'll figure out how to put the marketing and messaging and packaging underneath that price point so that you get a lot more yes and a lot less no, and you start filling up your bank account with those $4,500 checks.
Fantastic. So Carol has a question. She says, what's some of the marketing language you should use instead of learn, discover, basically awareness language, for actually indicating implementation and transformation language?
Oh.
So I think what Carol's referring to is that client-centric is a great question.
I know. And it's slide 51 in a different presentation.
Actually, I love it.
It's not slide 51 because we really actually don't talk about this outside of our program a whole lot. Think of it as a resume, Carol. So I think you and I had some conversations about this, about action words versus learning words. And think about a resume always starts with those action verbs, right? Build, boost, create, generate, increase, skyrocket. All the good things go up, all the bad things go down. So we're going to slash, eliminate, reduce, etc. When you use those action words do two things for you. Number one, it's automatically results language. And number two, it's automatically buyer language, right? We're talking to the executive decision maker who owns those problems. We're not talking to the end user audience member who might suffer from those problems, but doesn't really have economic check writing authority to bring you in for a speech or a seminar or a coaching project or a consulting gig. So think about build, boost, increase, maximize, skyrocket, generate, create, optimize, all those action words, right? Those action words are result words and they're buyer words. That's how to get away from the learning, finding out, and discover. You know, there's teaching language and there's doing language. And for you to sell more speaking, it always has to be focused on the doing language and the transformation that you cause and the outcomes that you leave them with. Great
Fantastic. Great question.
Carol and I have done some
Freddie
work
has a
together
question.
in the past, and so she's kind of a plant in the audience. A little bit of a plant, a friendly plant. Friendly plant in the audience.
A friendly
Carol
plant.
and I have done some great work together before.
Fantastic. Well, Fred has a question. He says, meeting planners are not always the economic buyer. You just touched on that a little bit. How do I find out if I'm talking to someone who is truly invested in the outcome?
So part of this is asking the right kinds of sales questions. And I'll give you one of my favorites. There's a whole lot more, but I'll give you kind of the skeleton key to all of these questions. Can you put a number on it? 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 So what that means is when they say, yeah, we have a little bit of a retention problem. You say, retention problem. Huh, interesting. Can you put a number on it? Well, it's about 15%, 20% above where we'd like it to be. Oh, really? Where would you like it to be? Well, we'd like it to be at, 90%. Right now, it's more like 80%. Some months it's 75%. Oh, so that turnover. Well, what's that turnover costing you? Oh, whoo, boy, it's costing a lot. Really, what's a lot sound like? And just keep on digging into the mathematical financial consequences. You can do this with anything. A lot of people think this is only applicable for marketing and sales. It is not. It is applicable for everything across the board. It's applicable for leadership, team building, presentation skills, communication skills, collaboration, innovation, conflict management, all of these, different topics. Can you put a number on it? If you've asked that question 2 or 3 times and the answer comes back no, that means, guess what? Ding, ding, ding. You're not talking to an economic decision maker, because the person who owns the problem always knows the numbers. They always know the numbers behind that problem. So that's just a quick hit for you to help you with that. And again, if you want to put things in place under and behind and over that question, so that when you get to that part of the conversation, you get more yeses than nos, I would encourage you to book a call if you haven't already done that. Just pop over to doitmarketing.com/apply, and I just popped that in the chat window so you have another little handy link in case you popped out or popped back in. Other questions? What else are people asking about? Anything about today's teaching, today's strategies, anything else that we can help with? I know the questions were coming in fast and furious, maybe towards the middle there, but we didn't get a chance to see them. So please retype your question if we did not see it 10, 15, 20 minutes ago.
So David, we have a question from Matthew. He says, and this is kind of a mindset question, so I'm going to be interested to see what our answer is. Whether you're worth it or not, that's an interesting comment, you are going to have some people balk at your request for $5,000 plus speaker fees. What is your advice for growing a thicker skin and moving from that rejection?
Well, I don't look at it as rejection, first of all. I look at it as filtering and sorting. And here's the soundbite that we share all the time, and I share this in my videos, and I share this on Facebook, and I share this in my email subscribers. If they don't have your fee, they are not your prospect. Make a poster, put it up in your office, Matthew. Look at it every single minute of every single day that you're at your desk, and that sign is going to say, if they don't have my fee, they are not my prospect. When you walk into a BMW dealership and you've got a Hyundai budget, the BMW salesperson is not losing any sleep that you walked into the wrong dealership and there's no car there for you. They say, oh, you must be looking for the Hyundai dealership, and that's up at the street. Right? What the BMW salesperson is looking at every single minute of every single day is, how do I connect with my next BMW buyer? And that's where your mindset needs to be. It's not rejection, it's filtering and sorting. And it's totally a mindset question, Teresa. And I think, the mindset comes from the marketing and the marketing comes from the mindset. And if you want to get straight on both, I would just encourage you to book a call. A lot of folks come in with what they think is a sales problem, and the sales problem might really be an articulation problem. In other cases, the sales problem is a mindset problem. Sometimes the sales problem is a prospecting or an outreach problem. And we're not going to know until we hop on a call with you and figure out what you have going on and help you fix it. So I would really encourage you, if you're stuck on any of these topics that we talked about today and you meet the criteria that I just laid out for you, hop on a call. It's doitmarketing.com/apply, and we'll work through all the stages and phases of this with you so that when you leave that call, you have a lot of clarity about your fee and you have a lot of clarity about why you are worth it.
That's right. You're welcome, Matthew. He said thank you for answering my question.
Absolutely.
So that's it. For those who are left, I haven't had any other questions. Last chance, going once, twice.
I did notice a question. Actually, a couple of questions came in, I guess, while we were already talking. But Fred's asking, meeting planners are not always the economic buyer. How do I find out if I'm talking to some? Oh, I'm sorry. No, we did. Let me talk about meeting planners, though. So even though we already answered Fred's question, I just had a conversation with one of our clients just this morning about, should I be getting in front of meeting planner associations like MPI? So MPI, by the way, is Meeting Professionals International. They don't like being called meeting planners anymore. They like being called meeting professionals. Meeting planners are often not involved in speaker selection at all. They're not involved in speaker selection at all. They do the hotel, they do the catering, they do the AV, they do the contracts, they do the logistics, they do the flowers, they do, all kinds of other things. Speaker selection is often with an executive, a board member, an education committee, a conference chair, other people. So part of what we would dial in for you is, how do I really connect with, but aside from the title, which can often be misleading, the job title, how do I really connect with the economic decision makers inside the corporations, associations, and groups that I want to be hired by, what's the DNA markers of what they want, what they need, who they are, how do I find them, what do I say, what do I send at every step of the process. So don't be confused. This is a very confusing industry. In one respect, the people that have the title often don't have the responsibility that we're after, and the people with the responsibility often have a completely misnomer kind of title, where you would never guess that that's the person who actually hires speakers for that association or for that conference. So it can be a little bit tricky zeroing in on the exact person that you do in fact need to talk to. All right. So PB says, you're a genius! Thank you! All right. Well, I like that in all caps. So PB, thank you so much. Anything else? Any other last questions? I see people are coming in. They're booking calls. We love talking to people that are ready, committed, qualified, that you're not a dabbler. You are taking this seriously. You are willing to make this happen. And we are here to help. We are totally here to help. So pop over to doitmarketing.com/apply. And we may still have some slots for later this afternoon, depending on what your time zone is. And I think we've got a couple spots open for tomorrow and also for Friday. So please do hop on. We've often had to open up some additional slots. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that this time or not. But at least for right now, if you're thinking about getting some help in these areas, go to doitmarketing.com/apply. And we would love to hop on a call and help you sort through some of these questions. Teresa, anything else for right now, my friend?
Nothing for right now. I can't wait to get on the phone with some of these amazing people and start sorting some of these things that we've been talking about. It's a great webinar. Love the new slides. Saw a few new ones in there, so nice job. And guys, it's been fantastic as always to spend this time with you, and we're looking forward to what happens after this. So let's move things forward together.
All right, everybody. Thank you. We'll talk real soon.